It's lovely to be here. I've come all the way from Brighton. Just in case you're wondering what this haircut is about. Might be a new face for some of you people. Don't panic, the BBC invited me here because they needed a beige lesbian. So I'm just here to tick some boxes. Not your box, madam, just a metaphorical box. I'm half Spanish, that's what's happening there. I've got a Spanish mum, and she lives here in the UK. It's all very legal. She's lived longer in the UK than she's ever lived in Spain, but the brilliant thing about my mum is that she's never lost her accent. She's doing very, very good. Lost words she cannot pronounce. Lost words she cannot pronounce, huh? My favourite word that my mum's never been able to pronounce is my brother's name. It's not even a difficult name, his name's Stephen. I don't know if you've noticed this, Spanish people, any word that begins with the letter S, they struggle, right? So my mum doesn't call him Stephen, she calls him Steven. What's his name, Mum? Steven. Is it? Isn't it just Stephen? Jennifer, I know his name is my son. It is Steven! You don't want to mess with my mum. She's not like British people here in this country. We can be quite passive-aggressive, can't we? She's just very aggressive woman. I don't know how my mum's never really coped in this country, and I think it's because, like a lot of Mediterranean people, she's quite loud, yeah? She's got one volume, it's like this. Hello! How are you? Whereas in this country, particularly if we're middle class, we tend to be low talkers, don't we? We don't like to raise our voices, do we? Why? Because we've got money. Let me just assume that if you are raising your voice, well, you're probably poor. Or worse, foreign. Great thing about having a Mediterranean mum is they feed you. Oh, my God. She's always feeding. That's her way of showing that she loves her children, is to feed us. You know, I can remember going around friends' houses, you know, like English mums. Go around an English mum's house and the conversation with mum's more like this. I think you've had enough. My mum will feed you till you puke. Anything can be going on in my life and my mum will relate it back to a meal that she's cooked. Do you know what I mean? Like, so good or bad, particularly if I'm depressed. If I phone up my mum and I've had a terrible day, yeah? I phone up my mum, conversation always goes like this. Oh, Jennifer, my God, I'm so sorry to hear that you're having a hard time right now. But you know what? Don't worry, okay? I made a soup. Come home. You sound hungry. I made a chicken curry, I made a lamb tagine, I made a casserole, Jennifer. I made some tortillas, some paella, some curry, Jennifer. You love curry, maybe some meatballs, some pork ball, beef ball, aniseed ball, banana ball. You're a lesbian. You don't eat enough balls. Please, come home. Eat my balls.
Little request, if you know anybody who works for WhatsApp, just tell them to let us delete the message entirely, like it was never sent. Don't delete the message, but still write, Neil has deleted the message. Like a little telltale informer. So that your friend still texts you and goes, what was in that message that you deleted it? You know when it says delete for me or delete for everyone? Who picks? Just for me, and just go and delete it for me, yeah? Yeah, still want them to see the awful stuff I've written, but I don't want to be reminded of how much of a dick I can actually be, yeah. It's like getting a tattoo removed and walking into the laser place going, what are my options for tattoo removal? You got two options. First option, we shine a laser on your leg, remove the tattoo so no one will see the tattoo. What is my second option? We shine a laser in your eyes so you won't see the tattoo. I'll go for option number 2, please. Thank you very much. I bought a new phone, I fell for the ad. You can put the phone on somebody else's phone and you can wirelessly transfer the charge. And the company thinks people are going to use that. No one's going to use that. Your charge is the single most important thing in your life. Look at your friends. They would prefer to donate a kidney to a stranger than to give you 5% of their mobile phone charge. You ever been abroad? Yeah? You ever been abroad? You bring one adapter, one charge between you and your spouse. The UN level of negotiation involving getting the charger back from the person you love. Can I have the adapter, love? Can I have the charger? Can I have the adapter? Can I have the adapter? And they hit you with it. Absolutely, Neil. But what battery percentage you have? And you look at the person you've chosen to spend the rest of your life with and you lie like a mofo, don't you? 3%, 2%, 0.5%. I've never even seen 0.5% in the mobile phone before, to be honest with you. Show me your phone, I'll plug it in for you. I can't show you my phone. Why can't you? I'm having an affair. How the hell having an affair? Show me your phone! We'll be in Spain. My wife will go and have a shower before we go out. She'll leave the bathroom door open and the shower door open. That is not an invitation to join her. You'll make that mistake once in your life, let me tell you that. It's because she doesn't trust you to not unplug her phone and plug your phone in. And she's right, because that's exactly what you do, isn't it? You plug her phone back in towards the end, so you got plausible deniability. You plug out my phone. I did not plug out your phone. It went up by 2% after half an hour shower. That is because Spanish electricity is different. You plugged it in during the siesta and the wires were asleep. That's how it works here. If I talk to you in the front row, hope you know I'm just messing. You get great answers. I had a farmer at a gig once. I said, what do you do? He goes, I'm a sheep farmer. I said, I read recently sheep can recognise individual human faces. He went, well, as long as they can't give evidence, I should be okay. I had a South African man at a gig in Dublin once. I said, where are you from? Big blonde guy. He goes, Cape Town. I said, Cape Town is beautiful and warm and sunny. How did you end up in Dublin? He went, I got in the wrong container. The Irish guy, lovely fella, big guy, you know. Apparently we're going to be the most overweight country in Europe in a few years. And they tell us this like it's bad news. Oh, it's a catastrophe, it's a disaster. It's good news, ladies and gentlemen. Only 180 years after the worst famine in Western Europe. I call that a comeback, ladies and gentlemen. No one else has bounced back like we have. Those people in Pompeii just died. If they were Irish, they'd be selling lava lamps by now.
Romantic, that's my problem. I love romance. Oh, I want to be in a relationship. I want to try edible pants. You can't edible solo, they don't let you. I'm absolutely fascinated by them. Here's why. It must be someone's job to keep edible pants from being too delicious. Because they've got to be okay in context, but there's a team of scientists that's working day in, day out to make sure that none of us start craving them. Struggle being single. I'm a pick-me girl. Do you guys know what that is? A pick-me girl is a type of woman who's like me. I'm not like the other girls. Why? Because I like live music. Shackle me. I do like live music. Like sometimes I wonder if anyone's going to see the band Placebo thinking it was The Cure. So I do think about that stuff. Love live music. I went to see ABBA Voyage. Have you guys seen it? ABBA Voyage, if you haven't seen it, it's incredible. It's ABBA. They've got holograms now. But just before going into ABBA Voyage, I found out a little bit of industry gossip, and I'm going to share it with you because I was pissed off. ABBA, the band, they're not even dead. And they've got holograms, is it? You can't have holograms if you're alive. Hey, ABBA, go to work. ABBA Voyage, it's amazing. From start to finish, it's them at their best. They were 28 years old when they recorded it. Start to finish, them at their best. A bit like this. So, ABBA Voyage, at the end of ABBA Voyage, sometimes the real ABBA, they come out. But the problem is that at this point in your life, you've only known them as hot 28-year-olds. So when 76-year-old ABBA comes out, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look like them. It looks like their parents have come to pick them up. I am a pick-me girl. I lie about my interests constantly, I do. My new thing now is I pretend to like football. Now, I want to like football. I really do. I really respect it as a sport. My problem is too much of it has happened. And no one will let me catch up. Like, everyone needs to stop playing for like 5 years, and then I'll start casual, season 1, episode 1. Now, the real reason I'm trying to get into football is because, basically, I met this guy. Thank you. And, oh my God. So he told me that he could have Do you guys know him? That's weird. He does have a lot of friends. He said he could have gone professional. But then, and this is so sad, just before the trials, he didn't have the skills. He didn't have the skills, the work ethic, all the natural talent. So close.
Liverpool has a strange relationship with Manchester as well. Is anybody in from Liverpool? All right, thought we might have priced you out. Not to worry. I love Liverpool. It's a beautiful city. And I remember when I first went over there, I support Manchester City, right? That's my football team. And I remember going over there in my Manchester City shirt, and I stopped this bloke at the train station. I said, listen, mate, I'm a bit lost. I'm trying to find the docks. Can you help us out? And he turned around and he went... Which is a word in Liverpool, right? Honestly, right? It means you're not welcome, right? You pick it up quick enough, right? Eventually he got to some sound, he went, eh! Because they're naturally witty, they're born with that, right? He said, what are you doing over there in Liverpool? I love him. I do. Now, at that stage, you're tempted to say calm down, but that makes things worse, right? You don't like that. I was very brave, though. I looked in the eye and said, listen, I asked you for directions, officer. You are bang out of order, mate. You can deal with it. But football, you know, has that problem, doesn't it? There's a lot of cities hate each other just because of the football. You know, I support City, and obviously Manchester United is our nearest club. And we've got any United fans in? Of course we have. We're in Hammersmith. There's always a United fan. Every gig I do, there's a United fan. They're like rats. You're only ever 3 metres away from one of the bastards. Everywhere you go. Everywhere you go is the red. I love football, but I'm getting to this stage where I'm starting to dislike footballers. I don't know if anyone else has this problem, right? But these like multi-millionaires running around the pitch, you know, every 5 minutes. I've hurt myself. There was a bloke a few weeks back, he missed 3 Premiership games with a dead leg, right? Now, that's not an injury, is it, a dead leg, right? When I was a kid, I had 3 dead legs in one day once, right? And that was for free. I still have to do PE and walk home. That's not an injury, mate. My granddad's favourite footballer was a German goalkeeper called Bert Trautmann, right? Now, in the 1956 FA Cup final, does anyone know what happened to old Bert? He broke his neck. Look at you like the quiz team. Bang, straight in, no messing about. Good work. He broke his neck and carried on playing, right? That's how hard they were in the 50s. The metatarsal, not even invented in 1956. He just got up, carried on, diving about with a wobbly head, right? Not bothered. Not bothered. Not these days. It's the fans keep shouting nasty things at us. Me up. It's right, isn't it? you know, I'm there in the crowd watching, thinking, do you know what? You're on 60 grand a week. If I think you're a knobhead, I'll tell you, right? And that's the way it should work, because if I was on that sort of money, I'd take it as well. Do you know what I mean? I'd stay an extra half hour at the end of the game just to take it. You're a knobhead? Yeah, I don't know. See you next week, lads. God bless. Yeah. Your mum's a knobhead? Yeah, but you should see her house. See you later.
When I found out that I was going to do this gig, I immediately put together a message and I pinged it out on our family WhatsApp group to my husband and my children, because that is the kind of rock and roll comic I am. And my son, my teenage son, wrote back to me at once, and his message said, "Thug life chose you, brah." And I was like, oh shit, my child has joined a gang. I mean, what kind of language is this? Thug and bra, it had 2 R's, but he's a terrible speller. And I was like, oh no. And the other thing is I thought, this message is not for me. This idiot has sent me a message by mistake, which is for a gang member. What if the next message is something much worse? And that really bothered me because, well, this was my moment. I am going to Apollo. Like, if I'm going to find out you're a criminal, can we do it next month? So I wrote back to him in all caps, because as a good Indian mother, I mainly shout at my children. I wrote back, "This is your mom." And he wrote back, "I know, gigging like a boss." Thank you. A boss. Yeah, B-A-W-S-E, boss. And also, please do remember as you listen to the rest of my set this evening that I didn't choose it, but the thug life chose me. That's right. So I have kids. Of course you love your kids and it's difficult to raise them. Small kids are very easy, I find. The biggest downside of having a very small child is they are very boring. Yeah, they want to show you they love you by talking to you all the time, but everything they know, you already know. I mean, literally zero value add in any of those conversations. But you do it anyway because they're your kids, you know? And you know what people say, small kids, small problems, big kids, bigger problems. And the reason is that as your kids get older, you have to discipline them properly. And I find this very stressful because I'm born and raised in India. So what I consider robust, healthy, high-quality parental discipline is frowned upon in this part of the world. That's not true. It's illegal. I know because I have checked. And I want to have really well-behaved kids, but that is no use to me if I am in jail. So, I have to learn what you guys do here. And the big thing here is teach your kids about action and consequence using a multitude of techniques. So you have something called star chart. You know what star chart is? Yeah, no, let me tell you, sir. Star chart is you find something vaguely not negative that your child possibly might be able to do and then work it into the conversation and give them a star. Thank you for not kicking me in the face today. Here's a star. And then the other one, action and consequence, naughty step. You've been terribly behaved. Kindly go relax on the staircase.
So the winter's drawing in. It's over. The summer was over. We never even had a summer. It was so depressing. Nothing happened, except there was a lot of rain, a great deal of rain. More rain ever since records began. Yes. Not that we have any idea what that means. There was this strange period in history with no records at all. People would leave their homes and go, it feels slightly different to yesterday. Is anybody writing this down? And then after a period of time, somebody said, enough's enough, I will write this down. I would like to announce that records have begun. That first day must have been quite a record-breaking day, don't you think? It's the hottest, wettest, windiest day since records began! This morning, I've only just started. They said about the wind as well on the weather. Who cares about the wind? Could it be a stiff northeasterly breeze? I'm not sailing to work. I don't give a shit. People see that and go, I'll leave slightly later with a tailwind. I'll be there in half the time. Woo! Then the clocks are going to change. Nobody knows when the clocks are going to change. They change on a Saturday night. Nobody knows it's going to happen. Everybody the same every Saturday night, every year. They don't know which way or what's going on. You only find out about it late on Saturday night. You overhear somebody, excuse me, what was that? The clocks, they changed. When? Tonight? Oh! Darling, the clocks, they... Which way? Which way? Which way? They go back. Is that the good one? Is that the good one? How many years do we need to be alive before we know when they change and which way? An extra hour! Woohoo! The only thing we can look forward to, ladies and gentlemen, in this winter is snow. It's the only thing that gets us through, because the weather's terrible, but snow is the holy grail. Nothing beats snow. And normally we get one day of snow, and you've got to hope that it snows overnight so you can be snowed in. Earlier this year, it snowed in the middle of the day. You don't want that. I was waiting for my bus, and where I live, there's no tube. You have to wait for the bus. The buses actually originate there. The bus is already there. So it's even more frustrating. I'm waiting for the driver. We've got everything we need. We're looking for people. Can you drive this thing? And that's when the snow came. Amazing, instantly landing snow. The best of snow. I mean, the most unbelievable snow. And then I realized, oh my God, I could get snowed out. This is not what I need. The driver shows up. And he says, ladies and gentlemen, I regret to inform you, due to the chaos on the roads, it's been snowing 8 seconds at this point. We're cancelling the bus. There will be no running of this service. And we're like, well, hang on a minute. We bought our tickets. What are we going to do? How are we supposed to get home? There's no way to get home. What are we going to do? And he said, don't shout at me. I actually live at the other end of this bus route. I take this bus home, and then I'm relieved by another driver. And we're like, well, this is a very interesting development. How are you going to get home? So there's only one thing to do. Walk. It's the only way we can get home. It's the only way at all. I'm like, fine, okay. So we walked the bus route, led by the driver. We came to the first stop. We had to tell the people waiting, there's no bus. And they joined our imaginary bus. It was getting bigger and bigger. I looked behind us, I could see the next imaginary bus. Not a bus, just people walking. And it was catching up fast, because no one to pick up from the stops. And the driver saw this as well, and he turned around. He said, when we get to the next stop, don't tell them anything. Keep walking, they can get on the next one. I thought this was one of the funniest things that ever happened to me. I said to the woman walking next to me, I said, this is hilarious, we're on an imaginary bus. There's a driver, there are old people walking, and this is funny, right? And I thought we were on the same wavelength, but now I remember I was doing most of the talking, because she said, I'd love to chat, but this is my stop. She got down to an actual bus stop and then walked in the direction we had just come from.
This year, I did no lilt February. Thank you. I know, it sounds impossible, but you take it one day at a time. Did I have any today? No, you're a legend. It gets hard around the middle of the month, you get the cravings. It's called lilt guilt. You're like, oh, I bloody love the lilt. It's the night where you go to the shop at midnight, you kick the doors in, where's the lilt? And they're like, we don't stock it anymore. Like, ah! So you try and make your own hooch lilt, you know, you get a pineapple and a grapefruit, and you add in batteries and a horse's head, and you're like, it's good, but it's not totally tropical. Did that joke in America recently. Turns out they don't have lilt there. So, this is it. This is all I do. Imagine if this was your actual... I go like blah, 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 and you go, ah, ha, 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 money. I can't believe I get away with it. You do actual, proper London jobs. You know, like blacksmith, you know? Farrier. Brunch DJ. The big three. I tell you, I do not trust people who work in offices. I know, right? What are they doing? Nothing takes that long. They're planning something. They must be. Do you know? Do you ever call in to visit your friend in an office unexpectedly? Everyone just shits themselves. They're like, what's he doing here? Cover the screen, lie across the spreadsheet, get him out. Kind regards, warm regards, best. That's how they talk. Seen the email. know what it's like in the real world. Look, sometimes I check in your world. Oh, gross, back to showbiz. And... No, I'm very self-aware of the level of fame that I have. I was in a supermarket recently, and an older lady came up to me, and she put her hands on my shoulders, and she said, "You are vaguely familiar." And that is it. I did a gig in Wrexham, and I was at an ATM machine, and a guy cycled by, and he shouted at me, "Surprised to see you at an ATM machine." And I've been obsessed with it since then. What did he mean? On the one hand, is he surprised I don't have a butler to go to the ATM machine for? No, I think it's the opposite. I think I'm surprised you have any money whatsoever doing keyboard horse shit. Here's my greatest ever showbiz tale. I did a gig in your Milton Keynes recently, thank you, and I was staying in the Milton Keynes Hilton, and she is the least well-known of all the Hilton sisters. And I checked in after the gig at like 12:30. Room 303 is where this took place. Open the door, TV on in the room. Not that uncommon in the chain hotels. I guess it's to welcome you. But get this, on the TV is me playing the shitty keyboard on some show. Immediate thought is like, is this a service they provide to all guests? If so, no, it's the realization, this is it. I've arrived, and I waltz into the room, down the little corridor with the loo away to the left, and as the room opens out, there is a fully naked man lying on the bed. So they've given me the key to someone else's room, but he is lying there, watching me on the TV, and he looks up. To think of something smart. What I say is like, "Oh shit, sorry man." I could have said anything and I'd be a legend. I could have been like, "Oh, you enjoying this? Ah, no boner," and just walked out of it.
That's why I moved here. I married a British guy. That lack of whooping when I say the word British, that is the self-loathing I signed on for. I love you guys. I'm never going back. So he's British. I married him for free health care, basically. I know, right? Not even a joke. Like, nothing turns an American on. A decent personality, hot rod bod. I don't give a shit, okay? Nothing is as good as being like, I can get all my moles removed for free. Oh. So hot, right? Okay, and anyway, jokes aside. It is genuinely this really exciting time in my relation, because this is very intimate information, by the way, but I need to share it because it's relevant to other stuff I want to tell you. I'm expecting. That's real. That's real. To have an affair. Now, here's the issue, right? So my husband and I, we've been together now for 8 years, and this thing has started happening. Where people talk about the 7-year itch, that's what gets the airtime, and I got that. Didn't scratch it, thank you. Mistake, thank you. Because now I have what I've coined the 8-year rash. What this happens about 8 years in, right? And it's where whatever it is that initially draws you to someone, 8 years later, that's the same shit that repels you. So you meet a guy, right? In the beginning, fun and games, right? In the beginning, you're like, you're a little dirty, but I like it. 8 years later, wash your balls. Water and soap, asshole. Ma'am, you're welcome. Thank you. I need something to balance the damage of social media. Social media makes me feel terrible about my marriage. I went on recently, and the first thing that came up in my feed, right, the first post I saw, was this thing. It was written by a woman that I went to high school with, and I saw it, and I memorized it instantly out of hatred, one of my gifts. Okay, thank you. This is what she wrote. This is a verbatim quote, okay? She went on Facebook to write, "Happy anniversary to the other piece of my puzzle. My amazing husband, Brad." And then the Brad is tagged. You're like, you share a house together. Go in the kitchen, give the man a card, okay? She continues. "I love you, baby. Being with you has made me the luckiest girl in the world. Hashtag luckiest girl. Hashtag in the world. Hashtag blessed. Hashtag 10 years. Hashtag commitment. Hashtag anniversaries. Hashtag true love. Hashtag married my best friend."
I've got the memory of an elephant. I remember one time I went to the zoo and saw an elephant. I was disappointed to find that Dunkirk wasn't actually a biography of William Shatner. I accidentally kicked my dog early and it bit me on the bollocks. My mate said it's karma. I said, no, if anything, it's even more angry. I tell you what always catches my eye, short people with umbrellas. I put on a lot of weight, so I rang up Weight Watchers. I said, it's an emergency, can you send somebody round? And they said, yes, we can, we got loads of them. I was actually thrown out of Weight Watchers for making sarcastic comments at the weekly weigh-in. As you can imagine, I accepted the decision with huge grace, because they threw her out as well. I was watching TV, the announcer said there's a documentary about the clitoris on the red button, but I couldn't find it. I was in a fancy lingerie shop. I said, are these knickers satin? He said, no, they're new. I didn't know what to get my little niece for Christmas, so I asked my sister what she's into. Apparently, at the moment, she's mad about frozen stuff, so I got her some oven chips and peas. It's been a tough week. I got myself a memory foam mattress, and now it's trying to blackmail me. As a child, I was made to walk the plank. We couldn't afford a dog. I went on a positive thinking course. It was shit. You would be. And it was half empty. The area in a Nando's between the front and back door is called the peri-perineum. What I like most about that joke is that people who know what a perineum is usually haven't heard of Nando's. Ironically, there's only a very small overlap between the two. The doctor told me to lose some weight. I said, how? He said, don't eat anything fatty. I said, what, pies, chips, that sort of thing? He said, no, just don't eat anything fatty. Old lady names are very much back in fashion at the minute, like Lily or Elsie or Rose, and we wanted something like that for our daughter, but we couldn't decide, so in the end we just called her Nan. go into it.
I failed 6 times in total, right? 6 times. Can anyone beat 6? There, 1 there. Good work. You didn't fail on reaction times, did you? Bang, you were in. No messing. Who passed first time? Where are you? There you are. Still a little bit smug about it, I see. Good work. I would be as well. It's horrible failing, especially when, you know, there's stuff in your driving test that you don't even need to do again. Like, I remember parallel parking. That shouldn't be in your test. I'm going, Jason, can you put your car between that red car and that blue car? I said, no, can't. I said, don't even live there, mate. You know what I mean? When's that going to come in useful? Do you know what I mean? I said, there's an NCP up there. I park there all day for you. I'm brilliant at it. Multi-storey parking, I've got some sort of gift. You know what I mean? Although there's one thing that could ruin your day with multi-storey parking, right? And I'll tell you what it is. It's little cars hiding, right? What they're doing, hiding behind big cars that from a distance look like a space. You think, oh, I've got one here, nice one. Oh, brilliant. Oh, bloody cheeky Chenso. I remember he failed me. I remember I got to a junction. When don't you do this, right? I got to a junction, I looked right, I said, all right, your side? Straight fail. What's he sat there for if he's not going to help you out, you know what I mean? My wife, she passed first time. I was very proud of her, you know. Well done. I didn't shake her hand, I don't know why I did that. It's a very formal relationship we've got. Well done, good night, darling. She passed first time, but she admitted to me afterwards she'd had a bit of a, you know, a bit of a flirt. She'd wore a low-cut top and a short skirt, a bit of midriff, like, you know, showing. Oh, is that the gear stick? Sorry. Like, you know, proper went for it. The worst thing was, when I did that, that was another fail. I always wanted to learn how to drive like my dad, mate. Dads are pretty good at driving, aren't they? They've got some sort of gift. Dads do stuff that nobody teaches you, right? You'll see a dad reversing. Nobody's taught him how to do this, right? But he's amazing at it. He puts his arm around the passenger seat like this, right? Nobody's taught him this. The examiner's not gone, we're going to do some reversing now. Have you got any kids? Yeah, I've got 2. Right. I'm going to show you how to properly do it. All right, so arm out like that. And my dad had used that because me and my brothers would be in the back. He'd need the back of his hand. Get your bloody heads down there, I can't see a thing. Wear a seatbelt. Wear a seatbelt. If you're not seeing that advert, you'll kill me as well. Right, it's proper mad. Right? And then he'd reverse out of second gear, like out of a cul-de-sac and up an A-row without looking. It was amazing to see. And he shouldn't have even been driving, my dad, right? Because my dad's got narcolepsy, right? And I know. I laugh about it now because I'm still alive, right? But as a kid, it was terrifying. We go up to Blackpool on holiday, get in the middle lane of the motorway, you go, right, lads, if you hear this noise, wake me up. You shouldn't be using the rumble strips as an alarm clock, should you, at any point? Dad, hey, I'm only joking, just messing. We get up to Blackpool, you're like, I don't want to go on any rides, I'm all right, Dad, I'm fine. And it was a great disease for your dad to have as a kid, you know, growing up. We'd get away with all sorts when he was telling us off. Right, you 3, I've had enough of this. You lot are grounded for a... Yeah, whatever, we'll do what we want, old man. He'd use it for his advantage, though. Sometimes if he'd be talking to someone and he was bored, like my mum would be going, anyway, so our Barbara says he's not going to get back with Derek because my dad would just go. And then we'd be playing on the floor, we'd look up and he'd look at us and go... He'd wake up half an hour after dinner with a plate full of carrots. What's happened again? What's going on? Well, the worst trick we ever did, right, we only played it once and we shouldn't have done it, was... Remember one time he fell asleep on the chair in the living room. Me and my brothers, we went upstairs, changed our clothes, come down, pretend he'd missed the day.
Now, one question that I get asked all the time, so don't text me with this, is if you could take a pill that would make you thin, would you take it? Of course I bleeding well would. I would like to take a pill that made me 6 stone. Then I could eat my way back up to 10. What a bloody brilliant weekend that'd be, wouldn't it? You see, I think there's two types of people in the world, right? And it's all to do with how they eat biscuits, right? Because the first type of person makes a cup of tea, gets a plate out, opens the packet of biscuits, takes one biscuit out, puts it on the plate, and eats it very daintily off the plate. Folds the packet back up, bit of sellotape over the top to keep it fresh for next month. Now, those sort of people should be executed, shouldn't they? Because the rest of us get a packet out, eat the whole fucking lot without taking the cover off, do we, really? And consequently end up looking like me. Because I've always had a weight problem. You know, when I was a teenager, I remember going to see the careers mistress, and she said, what do you want to do? I said, well, I'd like to be a nurse or get married. She went, better be a nurse then. When I was actually a teenager, I wasn't frightened of teenage boys, but I'm terrified of them now. They're a scary bunch, aren't they? And you know, I actually have teenage nephews, and one of them always has a sign on his door saying, keep out, like you're going in there without a flamethrower. Lend me my crampons, dear, I'm just popping in to tackle Tissue Mountain. And of course, the worst thing I think you can do with teenagers is try and kind of get down and speak their language. They hate that, don't they? Which is why I quite like doing it. And I actually found this out to my cost last year, right? Because I went around for months going to people, would you look at that minger over there? That is a minger and a half, that is, isn't it? And I found out that this was actually wrong. To my cost, outside my local parks, there were two teenage boys. I went, come on, lads, look at that minger. What a blinking minger that is. And they went, oh, for Christ's sake, it's Minger. And that's our mum. So, you know... Do we have many politically active people in tonight? One. Well done, sir. No, because I've been a Labour Party supporter all my life, and in fact, at the last election, I was asked by Tony Blair to go and speak at a rally in Hove. Oh, joy. And, but, you know, it just made me think, standing in the front row with all these dignitaries, these Labour Party dignitaries, I've come a long way since Fags Behind the Bike Sheds. Because I had Blunkett there, I had Cherie Blair there, Tony Blair came along the row, shaking everyone's hand, got to me and said, thanks for doing this, Joe. Kiss me. On the lips, trying to get his tongue in. Got up to do my speech, Blunkett had undone my bra. Because they're mad for it. They are. I was shocked, you know, because I was brought up in a little country village. The only thing we had to do at the weekend was bell ringing. Now, I don't know if anyone's tried that, but it's much harder than it looks, which I believe is something John Prescott says to a lot of women that he meets. But,
I live in London now. I swept London, so they all congregated Friday night at the river, but the last line of this email was, P.S. Don't tell John. Went to my gig, didn't I? Nobody turned up. They'd all gone to the river, but that doesn't stop me. Quite happily shout into an empty room about myself for 2 hours, spitting bile onto empty chairs. Come out to Waterloo about 11 o'clock to get home, and just have never seen carnage like it. I've seen drunk people. I've never seen a whole city shit-faced before. And you know everyone's drunk because there are no two people together. No one can coordinate to walk alongside one other person. Veering off individuals, grown men just smashing into train station walls because they've seen Harry Potter and they know that one of them... one will open up to that magical world where there's that girl where she's not old enough in the films, but she is now, so it doesn't count. People's limbs have stopped working, they're just dragging themselves across the floor, hoovering up chips. The biggest problem I had is because no one's left the city all day. No one's left London. So this train now that's about to leave is heaving, right, in a way that I've only ever seen in documentaries set in the third world. You know, there's like one train a year, and if they don't get on it, they ain't feeding their family. So they're on the roof, and they're in the coupling. That's happening at London Waterloo. Strangers, adults, hanging onto the outside of trains like that, waiting for the train to leave. And the police, they're saying, you can't actually travel like that, mate. You're on the outside of the train there. Sensible people say, oh, God, yeah, tunnels and that. Kill myself, wouldn't I? What am I like? Not pissheads. You do, I'm pig. I'm touching the train, I'm on the train. I'm not going to get home. I ain't getting home tonight. That's what's happening. I realised there was one train left. I thought, if I don't get on that, that's it, right? And when they announce the platform, I've got to be the first one there, right? And I've got a good chance, because when they do announce it, I'm the only one here who can still read. So they announce the platform. Not only do I get to the train, I'm the first one there for the whole train, which means I get my choice of every seat on a train, which would freak a lot of people out. They don't know which one they want. I know exactly what seat I want. I want two together, but I don't want someone to come and sit next to me. I don't want to put my bag on the seat. I'm too much of a coward. Because you know when you put your bag on the seat, eventually someone's going to come up and go, excuse me, could you move that, please? Yes, yes. Thought you were going to have this one, didn't you? And I'm here now, the alpha. So you can just... And I'm just going to touch you with that leg as well. That's my armrest. You get off, I'm having that one. You have that shitty little half one there under the window. That's yours. So I just picked the two worst seats on the train. So I think that'll do me, the two seats that nobody else will want, right? So what you do, you walk along the train until you say, well, they've joined two together, but there's no divide. So all these people are stuck in this bit, right? Go in this door here. Don't go on forward with your momentum. Just pivot round like that. And there's a little pouch of seats here that nobody notices, right? Look for the table here. Don't sit at the table. Everybody wants the table. Sit just behind the table. People see the table's free. They move on. There's two seats here facing backwards. Most people don't like to face backwards. Makes them feel sick. Sit by the window, so people walking here assume there's someone there as well. Yeah, go on, keep walking, mate. This is...
Little request, if you know anybody who works for WhatsApp, just tell them to let us delete the message entirely, like it was never sent. Don't delete the message, but still write, Neil has deleted the message. Like a little telltale informer. So that your friend still texts you and goes, what was in that message that you deleted it? You know when it says delete for me or delete for everyone? Who picks? Just for me, and just go and delete it for me, yeah? Yeah, still want them to see the awful stuff I've written, but I don't want to be reminded of how much of a dick I can actually be, yeah. It's like getting a tattoo removed and walking into the laser place going, what are my options for tattoo removal? You got two options. First option, we shine a laser on your leg, remove the tattoo so no one will see the tattoo. What is my second option? We shine a laser in your eyes so you won't see the tattoo. I'll go for option number 2, please. Thank you very much. I bought a new phone. I fell for the ad. You can put the phone on somebody else's phone and you can wirelessly transfer the charge. And the company thinks people are going to use that. No one's going to use that. Your charge is the single most important thing in your life. Look at your friends. They would prefer to donate a kidney to a stranger than to give you 5% of their mobile phone charge. You ever been abroad? Yeah? You ever been abroad? You bring one adapter, one charger between you and your spouse. The UN level of negotiation involved in getting the charger back from the person you love. Can I have the adapter, love? Can I have the charger? Can I have the adapter? Can I have the adapter? And they hit you with it. Absolutely, Neil. But what battery percentage do you have? And you look at the person you've chosen to spend the rest of your life with and you lie like a mofo, don't you? 3%, 2%, 0.5%. I've never even seen 0.5% in the mobile phone before, to be honest with you. Show me your phone, I'll plug it in for you. I can't show you my phone. Why can't you? I'm having an affair. How the hell having an affair? Show me your phone! We'll be in Spain. My wife will go and have a shower before we go out. She'll leave the bathroom door open and the shower door open. That is not an invitation to join her. You'll make that mistake once in your life, let me tell you that. It's because she doesn't trust you to not unplug her phone and plug your phone in. And she's right, because that's exactly what you do, isn't it? You plug her phone back in towards the end, so you got plausible deniability. You took out my phone. I did not plug out your phone. It went up by 2% after a half an hour shower. That is because Spanish electricity is different. You plugged it in during the siesta and the wires were asleep. That's how it works here. If I talk to you in the front row, hope you know I'm just messing. You get great answers. I said, a farmer at a gig once, I said, what do you do? He goes, I'm a sheep farmer. I said, I read recently sheep can recognise individual human faces. He went, well, as long as they can't give evidence, I should be. I had a South African man at a gig in Dublin once. I said, where are you from? Big blonde guy. He goes, Cape Town. I said, Cape Town is beautiful and warm and sunny. How did you end up in Dublin? He went, I got in the wrong container. The Irish guy, lovely fella, big guy, you know. Apparently we're going to be the most overweight country in Europe in a few years. And they tell us this like it's bad news. Oh, it's a catastrophe, it's a disaster. It's good news, ladies and gentlemen. Only 180 years after the worst famine in Western Europe. I call that a comeback, ladies and gentlemen. No one else has bounced back like we have. Those people in Pompeii just died. If they were Irish, they'd be selling lava lamps by now.
It was actually quite romantic how me and my boyfriend met. It was through a friend in a park, and it wasn't on Grindr though, because that's usually how. Because like straight people, you've got Tinder, and Grindr is like Tinder, except it tells you how far gay people are away from you in feet. It's like, why would you ever need to know on your phone how far a gay person is away from you in feet, like some kind of sat-nav to find them? If anything, Grindr should be for homophobes. If you're terrified of gay people, that's a handy application to have on your phone. Just walking down the road going, oh, Jesus, I'm not going that way now. Oh, my God, I'm surrounded. How'd you get out of this church? Thank you very much. Did you have the thing, by the way? Did you have the thing of during lockdown, your brain would be remembering cringy stories from your past that you'd forgot about happening? But for some reason, your brain was like a sibling waking you up at 4 o'clock in the morning going, oh, I know it's 4 o'clock in the morning and you're trying to sleep, but do you remember when you shat yourself? I'll be back in an hour with another one. Because some of the date stories I was remembering, I was like, oh no, that was horrendous. I can't believe I did that. Because on dates, I would get so nervous that I would do stupid voices to try and make them laugh, which is cute, but not sexy in the slightest. Nobody's ever gone, I didn't find him attractive. And I thought, no, I'm not going to go back to his. But then he did Kermit the Frog, and immediately I was turned on. You want to come back to my house with Kermit? It'd be really hot. And on a date, a guy told me he was a massive Lord of the Rings fan. And when he told me that, I thought, I'll save Gollum for dessert. And when he said to me, Larry, I've got to go and get my taxi, it took me by surprise. And instead of going, oh, before you go, I've got this wee Gollum impression you might enjoy, instead I panicked, dropped my cutlery and grabbed his hand and led him out of the restaurant as Gollum. So the last thing he can remember of me, and everyone else in the restaurant can remember of me, is me going, come with me, master. Stupid fat Hobbit needs to go and get a taxi. Oh, but no, we don't want master to leave us. Precious master, don't abandon your Smeagol. And halfway through doing it, I became more self-aware. And I looked up at him and I thought, he's not finding this funny at all. But I thought, it's going to be weirder if I stop halfway through. Because if anything, that's more creepy, going, Master, please don't leave me, no. Nice meeting you, man. Let's do this again sometime. Thank you so much.
I love this show because it's the only one on TV with no vampires in it. Honestly, everything's got vampires now. All I know is if my daughter and me were vampires, it'd be exactly the same. I'd be texting her at 5 o'clock in the morning, where are you? Sun about to come up. You will explode. She'd be like, I'm in field with pals, drinking dead sheep, leave me alone. She gets home, I'm like, have you seen the state of your coffin, young lady? There's a half-dead naked bloke twitching in the corner. I've told you not to play with your food. So I stare at my coffin, I hate you. She's just mad at me because I ate her boyfriend. Black people in the house say ho. Wow, it's like a two-pack convention. Brixton's empty. I said that in Winchester once, absolute silence. Not one black guy in the entire place. All right, there was one, all right? He was on the second row going, please don't talk to me, please don't talk to me. Imagine being the only black guy in Winchester, though. Wouldn't that be fantastic? You'd have a license to go up to every black woman you see and go, excuse me, we have to breed. Listen, I've got to tell you this. The BNP had a Christmas disco. This is absolutely true. Right? The BNP had a Christmas disco. When the DJ arrived, they all walked out because the DJ was black. The BNP hired a black DJ. Their spokesman said he sounded white on the phone. What, the DJ's got to sound extra black on the phone? Hello, I am the DJ for your Christmas party. My name is King Babatunde Soniade Mandela. My fee is £100, but you can pay me in Buffalo. I think we've come a long way though, right? Because when I first watched television, there were no black people on it at all. If somebody black did come on, people thought there was something wrong with the set. They'd be on the phone to the TV repairman. Hello, there's a dark bloke on my telly. Can you come and get him off? The only black people on television were the black and white minstrels. Remember them? They had black shoe polish all over their faces and these huge white lips. Accurate. My mum would be this close to the screen. Well, it's nice to see some black people on television for a change. But look at them lips. They must be from one of the small islands. I love being a comedian. This is all I can do. Because in my heart, I'm a 16-year-old boy, really, which is great to be a comedian, but not if you're a gynecologist. Girls, can you imagine me coming into the room? You got your feet in the strips. All right, Mrs. Macon, let's have a bloody hell. I can see everything. Do you want some cider? I couldn't be an airline pilot, you know, because you're on your own in the cockpit. I'd have to be a steward out there with the passengers. Put on a bit of a show. People, if we're in a crash, please do not despair. Grab a mask from above your head and suck in lots of air. Whip on your life jacket and tie it very tight. Then stick your hair between your legs and kiss your ass goodnight. Actually, do you know what? Wouldn't mind being a pilot. Because everyone's life depends on you. So you can get away with anything, can't you? I mean, who's going to argue with that voice that they do, you know? This is your captain speaking. My name's Brian. How much do you earn? Hope you have an enjoyable flight. Our stewardesses are there to help you, and our stewards are there to show we employ gays.
I said, what do you want? He goes, I want a cat. And I said, a cat? Nah, I'm not going to buy you a cat. No one gets a pet for Christmas. And you know what happened? I'll tell you what happened. There was a mouse, a little mouse. It came into the house, and the girlfriend, she saw it. She goes, ah, what's he doing in here? What's he doing in here? We've got a mortgage. Like, that's got to do with anything. Like, all the mice is outside there. It's like, hold on, guys, before we go in there, we need to see if this is rental accommodation first. Yo, fam, put that cheese down. We haven't seen the tenancy agreements yet. It might be a hoax, right? It don't work that way. So she was like, Marlon, we need a cat. I said, I don't want one. She said, Marlon, we need a cat. So we compromised and we got one. So we went to this place. Where they hold all of the cats in the world. And I walked in there, I was like, I want a cat. And the lady said, that's not how it works, sir. I said, please. She said, no, what it is, we need to interview you to see if you're fit to have a cat. And I started panicking. At this point, I said, listen, right, lady, right, listen, right, between me and you, I've got a son. I said, human being, 8 years old, and he's not dead. And she looked at me, she was like, yeah, you can have a cat. So, she brought us up the stairs, man. When she brought us up the stairs, I've never seen so much cats before in my life. There was more cats than people in this room right now, right, and they were there, different shapes, different sizes. And my girlfriend, she got drawn to one cat, which was like blue and grey. I've never seen a cat like this before, a blue and grey cat, and his whiskers were out, and the tail was up, and she walked over to the cubicle where the little cat was, and she put her hand right up against it, and the cat came along, and he put his paw there. And it was like they were touching. And she was like, I want that cat. And the lady said, no. She said, why? She said, well, that cat, it can't live with children. And my girlfriend looked at me like to say, fuck the kid. I want that cat. The lady said, no, you can't have that cat, but we've got some cats that is suitable for you, but they're in this corner over here, and she walked us into this corner, ladies and gentlemen, and all of the cats in this area here were black cats. Yes, and my paranoia, that went off straight away. I was like, hold on a minute, we can't have that cat over there, but we can have any of these ones. I've got to fight racism in the real world, but also in the feline world as well. This is bloody ridiculous. And she said, this one's called Denzel. And this is Barack and Michelle, right? They come. Marlon, you've lost your mind, you know. You don't even want a cat. Let's just get any of them. So, we got Beyonce. We got a cat.
I used to chase women quite a lot. Things were different back then, you know. It was like you had to go out on the hunt as a man back then. Back in the 70s, you had to put a nice splash of Paco Rabanne on. You stand there with your mates. There was no Facebook, none of this nonsense back then. You went in cold. You went in cold. You're there with your mates Friday night, you've had a couple of pints of lager, got your shirt on, jeans pressed. Say to your mates, look, I'm going to go and get them birds over. When I bring them back, don't mess it up. Walk over to them. Evening, ladies. I know it must have hurt when you fell from heaven. Maybe my friends and I could ease the pain by buying you a few drinks. No, fair enough. Come and we're going. We're only coming here on lesbian night, aren't we? It's very nice that women don't have to worry about this nonsense now being pulled. It's great, isn't it, that they fancy you. You're in a nightclub or something, you're chatting to her. She says, look, shut up. Shut up. I'm going to sleep with your brother. Calm down. Takes you home and uses you. And you wake up in the morning a bit dishevelled. The cat's looking at you. The judgmental cat on the pine dresser. But the worst thing has happened in all the commotion. You've forgotten her name. Now, I'm a bit old-fashioned. I think if you chomped on someone's fanny, you should remember their name, you know what I mean? It's a little bit of a rule of mine. So, go downstairs, go through the post. Thinking. I'm a thinker. Crafty cockney. Oh, let's just have a look here. Oh, I can't call her the occupier. That'd be a bit much. But I'm not so old-fashioned. I don't think if you've slept with someone very quickly, there still might be something there beyond the lust. So you tend to go out for a date, don't you, on the Wednesday night after work. You don't want to mess your weekend up. You go express. Pizza Express, not a hut. Too soon for the hut. Hut comes later. It's got to be express early days. Marbling table, flour. It's all going on. Now she's thinking, this geezer's all right as it happens. He's a bit of a stunner. He's not bad in the bedroom. Then you start proving you've got half a brain and all. She thinks he's a potential boyfriend. Ooh. Ooh, potential boyfriend. Suddenly you're getting this speech halfway through the 4 seasons. Listen, can I assure you, it's not my usual practice to sleep with men as quickly as I happen to have slept with you. And I'm like, relax, homeowner.
It's lovely to be here. I've come all the way from Brighton. Just in case you're wondering what this haircut is about. Might be a new face for some of you people. Don't panic, the BBC invited me here because they needed a beige lesbian. So I'm just here to tick some boxes. Not your box, madam, just a metaphorical box. I'm half Spanish, that's what's happening there. I've got a Spanish mum, and she lives here in the UK. It's all very legal. She's lived longer in the UK than she's ever lived in Spain, but the brilliant thing about my mum is that she's never lost her accent. She's done very, very good. Lost the words she cannot pronounce. Lost the words she cannot pronounce, huh? My favourite word that my mum's never been able to pronounce is my brother's name. A difficult name, his name's Stephen. I don't know if you've noticed this, Spanish people, any word that begins with the letter S, they struggle, right? So my mum doesn't call him Stephen, she calls him Steven. What's his name, Mum? Steven. Is it? Isn't it just Stephen? Even if I know his name is my son, it is Steven! You don't want to mess with my mum. She's not like British people here in this country. We can be quite passive-aggressive, can't we? She's just very aggressive woman. I don't know how my mum's never really coped in this country, and I think it's because, like a lot of Mediterranean people, she's quite loud, yeah? She's got one volume. It's like this. Whereas in this country, particularly if we're middle class, we tend to be low talkers, don't we? We don't like to raise our voices, do we? Why? Because we've got money. And we just assume that if you are raising your voice, well, you're probably poor. Or worse, foreign. Great thing about having a Mediterranean mum is they feed you. Oh, my God. She's always feeding. That's her way of showing that she loves her children, is to feed us. You know, I can remember going around friends' houses, you know, like English mums. Go around an English mum's house and the conversation with mum's more like this. I think you've had enough. My mum will feed you till you puke. Anything can be going on in my life and my mum will relate it back to a meal that she's cooked. Do you know what I mean? Like, so good or bad, particularly if I'm depressed. If I phone up my mum and I've had a terrible day, yeah? I phone up my mum, conversation always goes like this. Oh, Jennifer, my God, I'm so sorry to hear that you're having a hard time right now. But you know what? Don't worry, okay? I made a soup. Come home. You sound hungry. I made a chicken curry, I made a lamb tagine, I made a casserole, Jennifer. I made some tortillas, some paella, some curry, Jennifer. You love curry, maybe some meatballs, some pork ball, beef ball, aniseed ball, banana ball. You're a lesbian. You don't eat enough balls. Please, come home. Eat my balls.
Going away with my wife, she does this thing, right? If you get her in an airport, I'm not allowed to have my own passport. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. I'm a 40-year-old man. I get to passport control. They say, you got your passport, mate? I'm like, no. I'm not allowed to carry it. Apparently, I'm not mature enough. I don't know what happens, man. The moment you get near an airport, she becomes like some sort of Russian people trafficker. Do you know what I mean? She's like, I must have all the passports. You cannot handle passport. You are too stupid for passport. I must keep all passports in zippy clear travel document folder, huh? Alongside printout from TripAdvisor. But you may carry the bags. I'm like a peasant boy for the day. Oh, thank you, master. Thank you very much. Yes, it's a real honor for me to carry your bags, you know. 11 pair of shoes for 3-day mini break is a good idea, huh? Yes. Maybe you will become a centipede while we are in Egypt. Who knows? I went to a stag do recently. I went to the Munich Beer Festival. Has anybody here been to the Munich Beer Fest? Seemingly everybody. How many days did you go for, mate? No days. Got deported on arrival. We went for 7 days. We got there on a Monday, right? We had 6 straight days drinking, Monday through Saturday. And on the Sunday, we said, we've got to do something different, right? So we went to Dachau concentration camp. Yeah. It was a weird shout. There's no getting away from it. Could have gone go-karting. I said, no, let's do some World War II here. It took a long time to get there, and when we got there, it was shut. Now, yeah, it felt inconvenient. However, given the wider backdrop of historical suffering, I didn't necessarily think that my inconvenience was that big a deal, right? So I just thought I'll take it on the chin. But we had a mate of us called Tim, and Tim started popping off at the German security guard. He said, mate, it's a Sunday, yeah? It's a big tourist day. It's outrageous that it's shut. I said, to be fair, it's outrageous that it was ever open, you know what I mean? It's it is weird that you're making this about you, Tim, to be honest. People say dumb things, though, don't they? I was having a beer with my mate Wayne the other day, and Wayne likes to tell you where he was on the occasion of big historical news events that happened within our lifetime, right? So I mentioned 9/11, and Wayne went, 9/11, remember where I was that day? I was like, don't care where you were. I don't see how it's relevant. I don't see how your whereabouts on that fateful, terrible day will form some sort of meaningful historical footnote, Wayne. I'm being honest here. He looked hurt. He went, all right, where were you? He went, karate. I went, see, that's exactly the sort of trivial shit I was worried about, Wayne. He said, well, you know, I was in New York 6 months before that. Makes you think, doesn't it? I was like, no. No. To be honest, all it makes me think is I wish you'd been there 6 months later. Sorry.
I just celebrated 9 years of marriage just the other day. You know what I'm saying? Yes. Thank you, guys. Thank you. 9 years married to the same person. Jesus Christ, man. Listen, man, I'm just glad I'm no longer dating. I'm glad. Because dating right now is the ghetto. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's not easy to date. And you know what? The thing about dating is every time I see someone out, I'm like, how are you affording this? You know what I'm saying? It's a cost of living crisis. When I see people out eating food, I'm just like, I don't know how you're doing this. Even I'm on TV, and I still take my wife to the local chip shop. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, you're not getting this Taskmaster money. No. Nah, man. The dating. Back in the day, I used to get rejected a lot because I'm short. You know what I'm saying? Short guys, yeah, we don't get no love, man. Short guys. I'll be on the phone talking to girls, and I'll be like, you know, yeah, babes, I want to take you out. She'll be like, oh my God, how tall are you? I'll be like, yeah, I'm 5 foot. Hello? Hello? I am happy I am married, and I've got 2 wonderful children. Me and my wife got 2 beautiful children, 8 and 1, right? Now, the 8-year-old, that's a boy, right? And my boy is crazy. Make some noise if you got sons in the building, make some noise. So you know what I'm talking about. Boys are crazy, right? It's not just me. Have you ever just looked at your boy and been like, what the hell are you doing? Every day, all right? My son is obsessed with superheroes. He loves superheroes, right? Which is a bit weird in our household because we're like devout Christians, like especially my wife. We love going to church, right? My wife is definitely getting into heaven, 100%. Like, hopefully, I'm her +1. I hope, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be like, no, I'm with her. No? Okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? The reason why I bring that up is because last year, Halloween, my son, he wanted to go trick-or-treating, right? Which is a bit weird in our household. Again, we're Christians. And he was just like, Mom, I want to dress up as a superhero. And my wife was just like, there is no superhero in this house other than Jesus Christ. So she dressed him for Halloween as Jesus Christ. This guy went out trick-or-treating, giving out bread and wine. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was like, God bless you. Yeah, God bless you too. Oh, God bless you. One day, me and my son, we were at home. We're by ourselves, right? I'm downstairs, I'm watching TV. My son is upstairs, right? He's doing whatever he's doing, right? And it got silent. And you guys know what happens when it goes silent with a child. It means they're doing something they should not be doing, right? And then out of nowhere, I hear a loud thud, just boom. I'm like, God, what's that? And then my son's just like, Daddy! So I run to the hallway, and my son is standing at the top of the staircase, dressed in a DIY superhero outfit, right? And he's just standing there. He's like, look, Dad, I'm a superhero. And I was like, uh-oh. I was like, son, you might want to take that off before your mom comes home, all right? And he's just like, no, Dad, look, I can fly. And as soon as he said that, I'm not gonna lie, it got slow motion in my house. I was like, no. And my son was like, a part of me was just like, let me let him fly so he can break his legs, you know what I'm saying, and calm down.
And when I go back to America, man, we're not good at taking the piss out of ourselves. We're a younger country. We haven't learned that skill yet. That's a very advanced thing y'all do. We ain't worked that out yet. You know, in America, we used to feeling one emotion at a time, you know? And just, you know, we get mixed up like that. It's just, in America, too, we love catchphrases. We love slogans. We love stuff like that. And we found a way for justification to sound like empowerment. That's right. We have phrases like, be true to yourself, follow your heart, follow your dream. There was a movie a few years ago called Batman Begins, and it had one of them catchphrases, and Americans loved it. To conquer fear, you must become fear. Well, how the hell you do that? And it's just a way for Batman to justify being violent. I can take that same phrase and justify whatever I want. If I gain too much weight, I can justify it by going, to conquer fat, you must become fat. Man, I saw a politician on the news today, MP, talking about it'll be good if Tony Blair becomes president of the European Union because a Brit will be in there. And how dare anybody in Britain go against that? Well, how about the best man for the job? How about that? How about that? And like, I know that kind of thinking because I grew up with that. I was always taught that I had to support every black person no matter what they did. So that meant I tried for years really hard to support Don King and Robert Mugabe. And it's hard. It's hard. I tried. I swear to God, I tried, man. A few years ago, I was watching Wimbledon and Serena Williams playing. And I'm not a fan, but I admire her game. She got a strong game. And not just the physical, but the psychological. Every time she hits the ball, right, she makes this grunt. It's like this. And that's a hell of a psych job to do on your opponent. Every time you hit the ball, you release this guttural grunt that's like, It's like what you're saying is, with every fiber of my being, I'm trying to kill you! Imagine playing somebody in checkers like that. A couple of years ago, I was watching Serena Williams play, and I was with one of my buddies, black dude, and she was doing the whole, and he leans over and he says, "You know that grunt she does?" I said, "Yeah." What she's actually doing is releasing 200 years of black American anger. For real? He said, black American anger is one of the most potent angers in the world. And that's why she hits the ball so hard, and that's why she be whooping them white girls like that. I was like, oh, okay. So a couple of weeks later, after this Russian girl beat her, I couldn't help but mess with my friend a little bit. I was like, wow, 200 years of black American anger don't seem to have nothing on 70 years of frustration with communism, does it? Black American anger. Try a childhood with no toilet paper.
I'm freaking out. So the head hangs there for about 10, 12 minutes. Finally, the midwife says, "It's almost here. It's time. If your wife gives one more push, he'll arrive." So my wife went, "Yeah." Baby went, I put the TV to mute. And I leapt across the front room. And I caught him. And I was the first person to make contact with our son. It was a little boy out, and he was there in my hands, all warm and new. And it's one of the most overwhelming things you will ever do. And I tell you now, I was in pieces. I was in floods of tears. My wife was crying. The midwife was crying. And your mind just becomes a mush. I mean, to this day, I can't explain why I did, what I did, next. It was so emotional. Maybe it's because I'm Welsh, I don't know. But I went... Well, thank God we hadn't cut the cord. He shot back. It was Junior Bungee. He ended up lying on the floor with all this umbilical cord snaking around the room back to his mother, yards of it. I thought, what the hell do we do now? I needn't have worried. Calm as a cucumber, the midwife walked over to my wife. She put her left foot on my wife's right foot and pressed hard. And just like a Hoover, the cord went... And that's why we called him Henry.
Last time I did a gig in London, right, how great a heckle is this? This bloke went, "Oi, Howard! Would you shag your dad to save your mum?" Right? He was so aggressive, it was like it wasn't hypothetical. Like my mum was in a van and my dad was in a harness, you know? What would you do? I panicked and went, "I think I'd shag my dad." And this bloke went, "Oh, tell him then." He worked with my dad. Now, I don't know if you've ever had a phone call that chilling. "All right, son, what's all this about you wanting to bum me?" "Dad, you don't understand. They were going to kidnap Mum." "Well, that changes things, son. Before you start, you best knock me out. You don't want tips on how to bum your dad? Treat me right, son. Run me a bath. Put Radox in it. I'm not your bitch. All right, Dad, I've got to go. Lift my hips up." Weird moment, you know? Dads. I can't wait to be a dad. Obviously, I'm not ready. I'm still afraid of the dark. I think that's fairly crucial. "Dad, could you get my coat?" "I don't think so, son. It's in the cupboard, and that is where the goblins live." You won't trick me, I'm so wise. Such a child, you know? So, you know that feeling when you're near a wardrobe, there's always part of you going, "Come on, this time." Narnia. It never happens, but I bet that's an hour of fun at MFI, just no. I'll give anyone in this room 200 quid if they go to IKEA tomorrow dressed as a lion and hide in a cupboard. Been travelling all over the place. It's been great. I've been on tour, right? I've seen some really weird things, right? I was in a sandwich shop the other day. Do you ever see a sign that really annoys you? There was this big sign that said, "Hey, why not try a guilt-free wrap?" Like, what? Don't make sandwiches evil. How ridiculous is that? Sandwiches are lovely. The bacon sandwich is one of the greatest things in the world. It tastes lovely, and conceptually, it's a wonderful thing. A bacon sandwich is essentially bread giving a dead pig a cuddle. It's a lovely thing. I love you, Mr. Pig. Why do the Jews hate me? It's lovely, right? And there was a sign... Joke. And there was a sign next to it that said, "You may have cancer." Now I'm fat and I'm going to die, right? I was in a really bad mood, and then madness occurred. From nowhere, bloke in the counter, behind the counter, yawned. This bloke in front of him, who did not know him, popped his finger in his mouth and went, "Ooh, yawn rape," and I nearly died. Now, I've never seen a yawn rape before. I was like, "You've just been a yawn rape." Did the man headbutt him? No, he didn't. He giggled and went, "It's a good job I didn't fart, wasn't it?" And you sat there, you know that proper huge belly laugh? They're great when they happen. I remember the first time I properly went, "Ugh!" My friend Tom, aged 5, stood up in the middle of a nativity play and went, "Well, enough's enough." Heroic. But what made it even more heroic, he was the front end of a donkey. That's incredible, right? They're brilliant, aren't they, belly laughs? Aren't they, when they leap out from nowhere? I could watch drunk people for hours. Don't you love it? You know when people are mischief pissed? You know, when they put like a bollard or a cone on top of a bus stop? How fantastic's that? "I'm pissed. Fighting, nightclub, women. Nope, that bus stop needs a hat." He looks like a wizard, Dave. I've done it. 5 points to Gryffindor.
I was in France a couple of years ago. Had to stop to use the loo at a little service station by the road. I knew it wasn't going to be a 5-star experience from the moment I walked in there. The lady in the kiosk was eating a pig's trotter with her one remaining tooth. Like watching a chipmunk try to eat a piece of corn on the cob. I approached her, and of course, as a proud Remainer, I said to her in my best French, "Où est le bug?" She went, "It's round the back. It is round the back." So I went round the back, and there it was, a little shed. I thought, here we go. And I opened the door. Voila! Squatty potty! Throw up, France. Anyway, there was nowhere else to go, so I had to go in. I had to use it. So I went in and I closed the door, and it was brilliant because somebody had attached a rope to the back of the door. So you could essentially abseil down into the squatting position. It's a Centre Parks activity right there, isn't it? You'd pay for that. Bungee jump, brilliant. I did notice I was getting a little bit more nervous as a traveller on recent flights I've taken. In your 20s, you don't care, do you? Like that, I'll live forever. I'll live forever, me. I'm going to live forever. As you get older, you start to really pay attention to the safety announcements on planes. It becomes more urgent. You're more aware of your own mortality. You know, they'll start the announcement. I will definitely pay attention, absolutely pay attention. The glasses go on, the headphones come off, book goes down, notebook comes up. I'm like, oh. Last flight I was on, it got to that point, we've all heard it 1,000 times. We've all heard it 1,000 times. They put the little life jacket on, right? Put the little life jacket on, and she said, and of course, in the event of landing on water, there is a whistle to attract attention. In the event of landing on water, there is a whistle. A whistle to attract attention. Now, I think for the first time in my life, I really took in that whistle. The fabric of that whistle, if you will, the being of that whistle, the ergonomics of that whistle. There is a whistle to attract attention. My brain had the very helpful thought. It thought, well, if we have landed on water, we have essentially fallen out of the sky from 30 to 40,000 feet in a not insignificant metal tube that may or may not be on fire. If that hasn't attracted attention, if everybody in the surrounding area has managed not to notice, and you are then reliant on... I got this.
It's lovely the way I was introduced there. It's really nice to be introduced. It's a really nice thing to get used to in a new job when somebody says your name and people clap and cheer. It's lovely. It was a little bit weird at the doctor's the other day. Because nobody clapped. Every time I said clap, I think they thought that's what I had. But I decided in January, I think a lot of people do this in January, I decided in January to try to sort of better myself. I'm not really bothered about losing weight, but I quite like the idea of getting fit, so I thought I'd get myself an exercise DVD. Now, you know when your partner goes shopping and they say, do you want anything? And you're supposed to say no, but instead you give them a list. Sometimes I just make shit up I don't even need just to see his face. And he looks at the list and he goes, what's the difference between a tangerine and a satsuma? Ha ha, it's a test. And I said to him, could you get us an exercise DVD? That's what I thought I'd do. I'd get an exercise DVD. I said, just like a bog standard, like a beginner's guide, a very basic exercise DVD. And he said, no problem. He came home with Davina's Buff Your Abs. I thought I'm going to have to lose 3 stone before I can find me bloody abs. So I took it back and I swapped it for the one that I wanted, which was, you know, just fat lass has a go, you know. Or the sequel, Fat Lass Tries Again. And I watched the first few minutes, and you know how it's always a celebrity and a trainer, isn't it? Because a celebrity sells the DVDs and the trainer knows what they're doing. And in the first few minutes, they were both laughing at nothing. It was very unnerving. And the trainer said to the celebrity, why don't you tell the viewers at home what weight you were when you started this regime? The celebrity went, but I started this regime, I was 10 stone. I realised then that I'm aiming for a start weight. But I like to eat. Is that so bad? I like to eat. Sometimes I think I've got a tapeworm, but that it's just full. But I'm trying to eat more healthily. I had an apple the other day. Thank you. I put it in my handbag on an optimistic Monday. And by the Thursday, there weren't any Kit Kats left. And I was starving. I thought, I'm going to have to find it. So I looked around in my handbag. And I found it. It was prematurely bruised and battered. It had pen on it. But I was starving, so I peeled off the clean panty liner and I ate it. And it was all right. It was all right. It really reminded me of something I'd had years ago that I liked, and I was like, what does it remind me of? I can't remember. Toffee apples.
This happened to me recently on a bus, hungover, public transport, sweating, purple eye bags, no free seat. Everyone knew I was hungover. They were looking at me. They knew I was hungover. Not because of the eye bags or the sweat, but because I was holding Lucozade. Let's get this straight now. Lucozade is not for sport, is it? Come on. You see the ads, all these blokes, 8-pack, top off, running on the treadmills. Why isn't a body connected to a machine? Lucozade, sport. We all know Lucozade is for the hangover. That ad should just be a man on a bus crying. Head against the bus window. The slogan, Lucozade, buy 2 bottles if you've got work. Then I'd buy that. I was on the bus. I think I can't handle this. There's no seat. It's packed. I need to get off this bus. I need to get off this bus. I thought, no, I'll risk it. I'll go upstairs. I'm going to go upstairs. I'll go upstairs on the bus. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it. I put my foot on the first step, which, as we all know, allows the driver to know to speed up. Trying to get up the steps on a bus is like being on an episode of Takeshi's Castle, isn't it? I got to the top of the stairs. No free seat. There is no moment in life you look a bigger dick than when 38 people are looking at you and all they see is oh, God.
I get concerned about the message that we send, young women a lot on TV and, in the media, because right now we live at the height of materialism, where it's suggested to young girls especially that you can indulge the most depraved man as long as he's rich. This is evidenced by the franchise 50 Shades of Grey. Has everybody here seen 50 Shades of Grey or read it? Okay, some of you are shaking your heads. Fine. I will give you a quick plot summary of 50 Shades of Grey. I will be paraphrasing in this monologue, by the way. Is everybody ready? Yeah! Here is 50 Shades of Grey, abridged by Dame Baptiste. Hi, I'm a pretty naive American young girl who doesn't know about sex, even though I have access to the internet and my friend's a journalist. Mr. Grey, you seem so mysterious and rich. Can I interview you? That's right, baby. I am mysterious, and I'm rich as hell. Can I put a pineapple in your ass? I mean, some other stuff happens, but that's pretty much it. It's fair. Unfortunately, we live in a time where, materialism is encouraged, Do you guys remember the song No Scrubs by TLC? Yeah, great song for the ladies. Not so fun for the unemployed male. That was not a fun song to hear when I was younger. You remember how that song used to go? If you live at home with your mama, oh yes, son, I'm talking to you. If you live at home with your mother, they're talking to you. What if I'm a full-time carer? I'm supposed to leave my mother lumbered with bedroom tax, then go live with a bunch of strangers and pay somebody else's mortgage, then have those strangers question my life choices, which my mother already does, but I get rice and peas when she does it. Sitting in the passenger side of his best friend's ride, trying to holler at me. Sitting in the passenger side of his best friend's ride, trying to holler at me. I'm sorry, if me and my friends are concerned about our carbon footprint, I'm not entitled to find love? If you don't have a car and you're walking, oh yes, son, I'm talking to you. If you don't have a car and you're walking, they're talking to you. So we're supposed to leave our houses in 4 separate cars, knowing full well petrol prices are at £1.25 per litre in some stations. Then if you go into London, you're paying a congestion charge 4 times. If you're going out of London, you're paying a toll charge 4 times. Then wherever we get when we're going, then you got to pay a parking charge 4 times. And if we're all driving, then guess what we can't do? We can't drink, because when you all take separate cars, there's no designated driver, TLC. Which means when we finally do get to the club, because of all the traffic, because there's 4 cars adding to that traffic, we gotta drink water and sparkling water, then pay club prices for fruit juice, so I'm paying £7.25 for a cranberry juice, and we've been planning this night. The most TLC!
Cons, because I've been spending a lot of time in brothels and prisons. Made a list of pros and cons, always good, give you a bit of balance, Con, complete loss of all feelings of hope and possibility. It doesn't sound very good, does it? It doesn't sound much fun, does it? Pro, increased plug socket access. Bang, 1-1. I say increased, it's actually total plug socket access. I've got 32 plug sockets in my house. Each and every one of them is now under my sole domain. Con, all experiences that formed the basis of my happiness and sense of self-worth are now destroyed by grief. Downer. A bit of a downer, isn't it? Pro, less recycling. I can fit it all in the green box now. It's remarkable when you take into account just how much I'm drinking. Oh, John, you're meant to heat mulled wine. All right, Your Highness, hand me the bottle and leave. Con, I'm gonna lose my house. Bit of fun. Pro, 25% off council tax. I was on that like a ferret. Dialing as the door slammed. And that's us fresh out of cons. The rest are just pros, guys. Yeah. Increased freezer space, all 4 drawers. Cheaper gas and electric. Reduced wear and tear on fixtures and fittings. And when I say reduced, I don't mean by half, because I was only ever responsible for about 10% of scuffs and spills. So we're looking at a net reduction of 90% in real terms. This is my favourite one. Ultimate control over where the iPhone charger cable is and why it is there. There was a time it would take hours to answer the questions, where is the iPhone charger cable and why is it there? Not anymore. Plugged in next to the bed, most convenient place to have it. Simple. Is it unplugged in the bathroom? No, it's not. Be a ludicrous place to keep it. There's no plug socket in the bathroom. Is it in the front pocket of a rucksack you no longer use? That'll be the last place you look. That'll be very frustrating. Is it plugged in on a train we have alighted from? No. It's plugged in next to the bed because that's the most convenient place to have it.
You know, when you're in love with somebody, you rarely see them at work. You rarely see them doing the thing that they do and you can't. It's extremely attractive. Go follow your partner someday to work. If they're having an affair, it'll be a hideous conclusion. But just watch them doing the thing. It's really cool, because you can't do it, they can. You go, I fucking know, you're fantastic, you're glorious. Particularly when they're saving a life. Jesus, you're there going, oh, you're beautiful, I love you, and you're making me look good right now. Yeah, she's my girlfriend, look at her, she's glorious. She's saving her life, trophy bird, right? I had to be peeled off the doctor the day of the mini-stroke. Seriously, she was underneath me going, that's very flattering, but could I deal with the situation first, right? And I was behind her going, no, she'll be unconscious for a while, yes. Apologise, she's actually in the room tonight. Sorry about that. But it is nothing more attractive than seeing the person. I mean, the doctor here, have you a partner there with you? Have you a boyfriend or a husband with you?
Yeah, he's a teacher.
He's a teacher, so he's not in the medical trade. My teacher friend, isn't it sexy? Have you seen her ever deal with an emergency, have you?
Not yet.
Not yet, he said loudly. Get her to run over one of these feckers on the way home tonight. Dude, it's extremely attractive, but the one bad thing is you're very clannish people, the doctors. They have a tendency to hang around together in little groups, right? Okay? My teacher friend, do you have to go to loads of social events where it's just you and doctor? Does that happen to you, my friend, does it?
I hate it.
Yeah, I know, it's a nightmare. I hate it himself. I am articulating your pain, my friend. He hates it, ladies and gentlemen, because there's times I've been at dinner parties and it's doctor, and I'm the only feckin' muggles in the room, right? And they don't know half as much as you give them credit for. My friend, if you're ever at another dinner party and it's all doctors, feck with their heads. It's remarkably easy to do. If you're ever out with a load of doctors and they're going, well, today I performed a fucking duodectomy. You just go, yeah, but what are hiccups? Exactly. There's many competing theories at the moment. And then you go, why, if you stay in bed longer, do you feel more tired? It's not my speciality, that particular field. Does time heal all wounds? Who the fuck invited you to this dinner party anyway? What are the Oil of Olay 7 signs of aging? No one No one actually knows what the oil of Olay 7 signs of aging are, right? Apparently they start with little lines around the eyes and finish with a woman sitting on a stairs with a bottle of gin going, I gave him the best years of my life! And it takes a feckin' hell of a cream to get rid of that, let me tell you. Doctor, one final question. Doctor at the back there, my surgeon friend, liver and pancreas, answer me this. What are hiccups exactly?
Diaphragmatic irritation.
A diaphragmatic irritation. Good woman yourself. Very good. Let the punters at home note, she said diaphragmatic irritation, which is right. I also would have accepted any arrhythmic irritation of the phrenic nerve. Please. I'm not a doctor. I'm just riding one. Okay.
My wife and I have decided we don't want children. If anybody does, we can drop them off tomorrow. The fat one has asthma. Is that even good? No, we have a beautiful old girl who we named after my mom. In fact, passive-aggressive psycho turns 5 tomorrow. Hey, should lesbians be allowed to use dildos? They made their choice. I am happily married, that's why I'm wearing the ring. Ooh. Oh, it must have fallen off in that hooker's ass. What am I like? Anybody that's married knows what I'm talking about when I say this, that you really find out about someone after you marry them. Like, for example, my wife doesn't have a peanut allergy. No, it turns out she has a penis. That's it, she has a penis. My father was a man of few words. I remember he used to say to me, son, get your trunks, we're going to the library. I was addicted to rolling around in pig shit. I've been clean for 2 years now. No, I seldom do drugs. I've only done ketamine. My doctor thinks I'm taking hallucinogenic drugs. How do I know? Let's just say Little Bird told me. My therapist says I have a preoccupation with vengeance. We'll see about that. Another therapist says that I have an overactive imagination, or something to that effect. I was distracted by the tap-dancing chipmunks on his water cooler. Yes, doctor. I understand, doctor.
T for two, a T for tea, me for you, and you for me.
OMG, that is so cute. Do another song, would ya?
Okay. Me and my shadow strolling down the
I was called immature today by my smelly wife. So I spit on her. And now I'm
lonely. I'm Mr. Lonely. I have nobody for my own.
3 of you recognized it. That was a tough note. Some of you are looking at me thinking, is this shit funny in Canada? No, it's not. That's why I'm here. Receiving oral sex from an ugly person is like rock climbing. You should never look down. Sir? You guys have been amazing. Thank you very much, everyone.
There was a man, and he just crumbled to the floor. He had his head in his hands, and we've all been there. We know exactly what's happened. All of us have felt like that. But because it's London, we just walk past. We just walk past. And, I wouldn't want to embarrass him with any empathy. Probably only room in that pit of despair for one. Just whiz past. My puppy doesn't know the rules. And so he ran between the man's legs, up his chest, and started licking him on the face. And the man stared back at him, and they had this beautiful communion. And that's when I realised that my puppy is the baby Jesus. Because that's exactly what Jesus would have done. Just loved him. I don't know if Jesus would have eaten all of the man's cigarette butts. I don't know how often Jesus ate off the floor. It's one of those details they've left out of the Bible because it would undermine Jesus' other great work, wouldn't it? Like, oh, Jesus, lovely parables, and didn't the courtyard look clean after he'd been round? I'm going to talk about Jesus because it's his birthday. I'm not trying to convince you of anything, but there are details that have been left out of the Bible. When I was growing up, I always thought Jesus must have loved the story of his own birth. Wouldn't he? To him, as a child, it would have been absolutely amazing. He'd be like, tell me again, Mum, tell me again. And then his mum's like, all right, OK. So, I was asleep, and then the angel came down, done me in the ear. And then I woke up, I turned to Joseph, I said, I'm having a baby, it's not yours. He was all right about it. Then 9 months later, we had to go Bethlehem. Oh, and it was chock-a-block. There was nowhere to stay. We ended up living in this stable. I only got 2 on TripAdvisor. Actually, it was very nice. The hay was clean. There was a little donkey. Shepherds came with cute little lambkins. And then these wise men turned up with very expensive presents. The end. Tell me again, Mum, tell me again. So the story of my birth, slightly different. My parents did meet in an unusual way. My dad was in a pop band in the 70s, and my mum was a fan of that band. So she went to all of his recordings and concerts, and she played a long game. She waited until my dad wasn't in the band anymore. She was the only person still sleeping outside of his house. My dad eventually felt sorry for her. They had a one-night stand, got pregnant with me. My mum told my dad she was having a baby. He told her she had to get an abortion. She said if he didn't marry her, she'd kill herself. Tell me again, Mum. So, the second problem with my puppy is he's interfering with my sex life, which I wasn't expecting. He's a dog. I thought he doesn't know what we're doing. It's fine. You can carry on with your romantic life. He likes to watch. He's absolutely fascinated, which is very off-putting. You don't want to meet eyes with your puppy when you've got a dick in your mouth. It's very distracting. And also, he's got incredible timings with his vocalizations. If I am lost in the moment, I'll be like, That's how I sound. And my boyfriend, he's much more like, and then the puppy goes,
The most sexually adventurous thing I ever did, I did it when I was single. When I was single, I ordered the #1 vibrator on the Love Honey website. And the Love Honey website is a sex toy website, for those of you pretending not to know. I kind of ordered it out of spite, right? Because one of my exes called me a prude, which I think is such an extreme thing to call someone. I don't think I did anything to warrant that. The only thing I can think of maybe is once I said that I don't like morning sex. That's not a big deal. That doesn't mean that I'm not sex positive. I just don't think you should do something that disgusting in the morning. Not whilst the blackbird is singing his morning tune. But I went on the website. It was late at night. I just ordered the first one on the list because I thought that would be good. That would probably be quite nice. The thing that arrived is so terrifying. It plugs directly into the wall. It has one of those on the end of it. It uses mains electricity. It needs to be pat tested. I just find that so threatening, because I think what that's basically saying is, what I'm about to do to you couldn't possibly be done with a battery. I'm gonna need that same stuff that powers your fridge. It's huge, it's bigger than this. It looks like a piece of farming equipment from the Industrial Revolution. But it's called a wand. There is nothing magical about it. I've never seen this type of vibrator before. All the vibrators that I've seen advertised online are very small and portable, and they're not making big claims. They're just happy to live in your bedside drawer, and they'll be there like, okay, girl, I'm here if you need me. Like, if you and your partner get like super, super drunk one night, maybe you could experiment with me for a little bit. Honestly, I might not do anything, but I might speed things along for you a little bit. Either way, no worries if not. Whereas my vibrator is just next to the bed like, do you want to meet God? Not really. It doesn't even fit in the bedside drawer. It's just curled up on the floor like a python. And after it arrived, I was like, is this the right thing? Because I checked on the website, because I thought maybe it got mixed up with like an order meant for Guantanamo Bay. It was the right thing. Not only that, I read the description for the first time. It said in the description, this is the world's most powerful vibrator. I don't think I need that. I need absolute max, a whisper on the wind. The world's most powerful vibrator. You shouldn't be able to buy that without a license. Underneath as well, it said, the vibrator will turn off automatically after 20 minutes for your safety. 21 minutes and there's a danger of death. I don't even want to shout. It cost £90. So I felt like I had to try it because I spent so much money. And I don't even have a plug next to my bed. I had to get the extension cable. That felt desperate. I turned it onto the lowest setting. It had 8 settings. I turned it onto setting 1. It was so loud. I was like, there's nothing private about this experience. The neighbours are going to think I'm having a new kitchen put in. At midnight, they're going to call the council. Well, no, they're not calling anyone. They don't have any power right now. I tried it just for like 1, maybe 2 seconds, and I was like, I can smell burning. I can't use this thing. It's going to sand me down. It's going to erode. I'm going to be flat over. There'll be nothing left like Barbie. But it had 8 settings. I thought, I have to see what setting 8 does. Not on myself. I know my limits. I just turned it up to setting 8 in the sky. Fuck me. I was like, I'm going to rip a hole in the space-time continuum.
So I'm a single mum, right? And whatever people say, it is different than being a single dad. Because women see single dads and go, oh, he's so good with his kids. Isn't he coping wonderfully? Oh, he's so good with his children. I must have sex with him now. Whereas men see single mums and they go, run him out, baggage! I went on a date with a guy that called my little boy baggage. He's 3. He's not baggage. He's hand luggage. He just fits in the overhead lockers. It's kind of perfect. Recently, my brother said, look, Shap, you've been separated for ages now. You really need to find yourself a new fella. Why don't you go on the internet? Because my brother found his girlfriend on the internet. I think it was eBay. So I joined an internet website, and to my surprise, right, on the online form that you had to fill in, One of the things you had to tick to see who you wanted was racial preference. And it said white, Caucasian, 3 boxes, not important, decidedly important, absolutely crucial. And I thought that's a little bit weird because your photo's up there in the first place, so you can just be racist in private. You know, why hurt anyone's feelings, right? So I want to show you this. I wrote an email to the administrator of this website. I wrote him an email, basically, in a nutshell, going, what are you on, mate? And he wrote back, going, the choices we provide on our matching algorithms, I had to look that word up, nothing to do with sex, are for our users to find the perfect match. They are in no way indicative of someone being racist at all. White, Caucasian, absolutely crucial. Right, so I wrote back going, shut up, a bit more coherently than that. And then he wrote back and said, some people are more stringent than others when it comes to finding a partner. Doesn't that sound like a real dig at me? Like, oh, you'd shag any old colour. We merely help them find the right person by enabling them to measure height, weight, occupation, level of income, and ethnicity. Thing is, height, weight, occupation, level of income, they're all things that can be measured. How do you measure ethnicity? I had no idea how to measure my own when I was filling out the form. I had to look on a Dulux colour chart. Turns out I'm natural calico. This correspondence went on for quite a while, right? And tell me if you think I went too far. Eventually, I sent him a copy of the Nuremberg race laws. I'm not saying that this website is a Nazi organisation. I just think we should nip things in the bud at source. He wrote back to me and said, Dear Shappy, I've enjoyed our correspondence. I have now noticed your name is Shappy Corsandi. Might you be the same Shappy Corsandi I saw on the Michael McIntyre Comedy Roadshow? If so, I am single. And I wondered if you'd like to go for a coffee. Won't this be a funny story to tell our kids? Smiley face. I wrote back. I said, thank you so much for your email. I'm very flattered. However, I've noticed your name is James Chowdhury. Little bit too brown for me. Natural calico.
But I got Sky TV now, which is excellent. You can pause live TV, just pause it. The people at home now can just pause it, and it's a perfect pause. Not the old sort of 1980s VHS pause. That was a very different story, wasn't it? You couldn't even see what you were watching in 1980s pause. People who weren't moving would start moving. Wasn't even moving in this scene. People in paintings would come to life. I'm in a painting! But then once you pause it, it's quite exciting because you can watch it back in like ×2 or ×6 or ×12 or ×30, which makes boring programmes quite entertaining. Like at the tennis, you can forward the changeovers. Watching Andy Murray eating a banana in ×12 is quite exciting. I watched Deal or No Deal in ×30. It really whizzes along. I watch all TV. I watch TV just to slag it off, to be honest. Dragon's Den winds me right up. I know you're rich, dragons. You don't need to bring your cash with you. They sit there with cash on their tables. I'm so tremendously wealthy, all my bank accounts are full. I've had to bring additional funds with me tonight. What about you, Theopathetus? Have you got money on your table? Oh, I'm completely loaded. I've thrown money up onto my table, that's every time. What about you two dragons? Oh, yes, you've got a lot of cash here. All right, bring in the first poor person. Let's see what they've got. They come in trembling. Hello, dragons. Please, can I have some cash for the ideas in my brain? I feel sick just looking at poor people. The state of her clothing. For that reason, I'm out. What about you, Theopathetus? Are you out? I will be out, but I'm going to humiliate the bitch for 15 minutes. Then I will declare that I too am out. on Dragon's Den with a shotgun. Just stand there, pointing at each of them individually, till one of them goes, so what's your idea? Quite simple, put that cash in this bag, all right? You get no equity. I like some TV. I watch it till the bitter end, literally like the early hours of the morning, till the signing zone, the death zone. That's when you know it's probably time for bed, you know? When there's somebody in the corner signing. You feel a bit like, this isn't really for me. They almost look at you like, come on, you could have watched this in the day. It's probably bedtime for you. Deaf people have been asleep all day to stay up for this. Have some respect. I like it when there's no dialogue in the show and they watch TV with you. The other day I was watching the Blue Planet or something. This is a show with David Attenborough where they discover creatures from the depths of the ocean for the very first time. Literally fish that were only just discovered, and they were naming them on the show. So he was going, here we have the newly discovered Diplodocus. And the signing guy was going... He resorted to impersonating the fish. It was hilarious. The fish was swimming, he was just underneath going...
that have come out of this pandemic. I do. And I think one of the major good things that's come out of it is how we've embraced new technology. Isn't it? Because it's just unbelievable. Who knew what Zoom was 2 years ago? None of us. Like last week, I had to do a speed awareness course online. Now, you should be doing that on something called Zoom, but that's the world we're in now. It's the world we're in. I've got a phone that can recognise my face. That already makes it better than my nan. Come on! I embrace new technology. I do, because could you imagine if this pandemic had happened like 30 years ago? No internet, no Zoom, no Pornhub. I don't know why I looked at you, sir, but I did. Because I think we've forgotten, here in 2021, we've forgotten what really being bored feels like. Like proper bored. My friend's little boy said the other day he gets bored waiting for an app to load. Fuck off, mate. That is not boredom, is it? I'm talking Sunday afternoon in the 80s. That was boredom. When it was raining, you'd read every book in the house. I grew up in Maidstone. That's a Mills and Boon and an Argos catalogue. Your mum's watching something black and white on the only telly in the house, so you listen to your Walkman for a bit, but the batteries are dying, so Madonna's Like a Virgin sounds like Barry White singing it. You know? You can't go and buy more batteries, can you? You can't, because all the shops are shut. And I mean, all the shops are shut, even the petrol stations are shut, and then when you think your day can't get any more tedious, your dad would go, get in the car, everyone, we're going to go and visit someone. That's what we do, isn't it? On a Sunday afternoon in the 80s, we would visit people for no reason other than to ruin their day. Do you know what? Young people don't believe this when you tell them. We never told them we were coming. Could you imagine doing that to someone today? They'd be livid, wouldn't they? We used to spend every Sunday with people wishing that they'd hoovered and we'd fuck off, didn't we? I'm right on that. The only people who phoned ahead in the 1980s were the IRA. Fact. I wouldn't be a teenager now, though, would you? I wouldn't be a teenager now. When I think of the things I did when I was a teenager, the thought of that being on the internet forever, it makes me feel physically sick. It does. The way they have to communicate with each other is something I just can't understand. You know, sexting. I couldn't write a sext. I don't know what to put in a birthday card. When I was a teenager, if I wanted to leave a sexy message for a boy, I'd have to ring his landline and leave a message with his mum. All to what, dear? All over your what? Different times, isn't it? Different times. There was a boy I fancied at school. I couldn't text him to write him a note, stick it in his school bag. And I'd make him a mixtape. Write him a poem. That's all we had, didn't we? I genuinely think a 14-year-old girl today, she would be more freaked out if you sent her a poem than if you sent her a picture of your knob. Poem would freak her out more. She'd be with her friends going, I mean, it was like a song, but it wasn't a song. And there was no cock in it. Not even a bollock, no. times, you know. Different. Apparently, young people today, they are most likely now to have their very first sexual experience online. Do you know that? Via FaceTime or Skype. They're not even in the same room. You've got one teenager in this house on their phone and the other teenager in this house on their phone, and that's how they're having their first sexual experience. And I just think, do you know what? Getting fingered behind a caravan at a fairground is not ideal. But at least I was getting some fresh air.
I think women should just let it out. It's a big day in a girl's life when she can freely let rip in front of her bloke. It is. I think women should be having I farted in front of my boyfriend for the first time parties. I do. I think they should be ringing up their mums, just going, Mum, I've got something to tell you. Oh, darling, what is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? I just did a fart in front of Tom. Oh, darling, there's wonderful news, wonderful news. And what did he say? He didn't say anything. He just laughed and farted back. My little girl's all grown up. Meanwhile, Dad will be in the background just going, women are farting far too early in front of their boyfriends these days. It was 18 months before your mother even trumped in my direction. 6 months before she'd take a dump in the house when I was around. Yes. And also, I'll tell you something else we pretend as well. We keep the old, the lady garden quite tidy, us girls, don't we, in the early stages? We'll do little tricks with it. Look, it's the strip, it's the Brazilian. Oh, look, I put a hat on it, it's the Mexican. Like we do. We do all that in the early stages, and then after about a year, it looks like the back of the wardrobe that leads to Narnia. Well, if he wants it, he's going to have to work for it. People say to me, Andy, you could try meeting people in a nightclub. You'll never meet anyone good in a nightclub because the nightclub environment is designed to have us make bad decisions. It is because it's dark, you can't see, you can't hear. You know what? If nightclubs want to be responsible, what they should do to help us out is just before the exit, they should have a brightly lit room where you can check out the person you're leaving with. Yes, they should. They should call it the Have a Sodding Word with Yourself lounge. And you would literally get women in there just going, oh my God, you're wearing a fleece. I couldn't tell because it's so dark in there. Okay, nice to meet you. But listen, if you meet somebody online, all I'm going to say is there's some safety things to take into consideration. Now, I met somebody through Twitter, just the once. I'll never do it again. And it was the most irresponsible thing I think I've ever done. And I spoke to a friend about it before we met up, and I said, listen, I've met this guy, and we seem to really like each other, and we're talking about meeting up. What do you reckon? Should I meet him? And before my mate even had a chance to say anything, I said, you know what? I am going to meet this guy. You know why? Because life's too short. And my mate just went, yeah, you're going to find out how short. And my mum says, she says, look, if you go on these dates, make sure you meet in a public place, okay? And I'm just going to add something to that. Public place, brill. Public house, excellent. Public toilet. Never meet in a public toilet. No good can come of it. Unless it's, you know them space-age toilets that they have outside? Where you put the money in, press the button, and then the door opens. You know why? Because you can pretend it's blind date. How cool is that? You just put the money in, press the button. And if you don't like it, just press the button really quickly. I don't know why, like young couples, new couples have got this obsession with finding out how many people someone's been out with from before. Like, how many previous partners? How many previous partners? This is a lose-lose situation, right? And if any of you have ever had that conversation or you think it's ever going to come up, this is what I say. This is what you should say, okay? Just say to the person that's asked you, you want to know how many previous partners? Okay, I'll tell you from the beginning, all right? 1, 2, 3, 4, you, 6, 7...
My wife gave birth to two little girls, and exciting. It's exciting. The hardest thing with twins, of course, is picking your favourite. You know, that's the hardest thing. I go for the one that's not crying a lot of the time. No, the hardest thing is the lack of sleep. That's what everyone says, don't they? The lack of sleep. I've been getting 3-4 hours sleep at night, so's my wife. And, I mean, famously, of course, Margaret Thatcher, she got by on 4 hours sleep a night. And that sort of goes some way to explaining why she was a proper miserable bitch, right? Because... honestly,
sometimes wake up after 4 hours sleep and want to close a couple of minds. You know what I mean? That's how I do. Take milk off children, give it here. The one time you know you're not getting enough sleep, right? There's 2 times it happens. One time is when you look in the mirror and you can see what you're going to look like in 15 years' time, right? That's when you know you're not getting enough sleep. The other time is when you hear one of the most beautiful sounds in nature, bird song, okay, at 4:30, 5 a.m. in the morning, and all you can think of is, shut up. Shut your little beaky mouth, you little feathery bastard. That's when you need to have a lie-in at some point. Someone needs to come and relieve you. One of the things I found amazing while my wife was pregnant, and not amazing, that sounds bad, but is how much you actually fancy her while she's pregnant, okay? It's phenomenal. It just strikes blokes. You see your wife, I saw my wife, I think, whoa, yeah, whoa. Mainly because her boobs go massive, right? And that's convinced me that God is a woman, because only a female would make those boobs the best looking they've ever been, yet too sensitive to do anything with. You forget yourself sometimes as well. I forgot myself. I remember coming one night, it was 2 a.m. I got into bed, I had to be up at 7. And my wife was out here, like, just before she popped, and she turned over, right, in the night. Beep, beep, beep. And she nudged me awake, complete mistake, but I forgot for a second, I just forgot myself. And I woke up, I went, oh, that's so frustrating. And she was up straight, bolt upright over me, eyes red in the darkness. Frustrating, is it? Luckily, I had my wits about me. I went, just frustrating not being able to help you. Don't know where it came from, but I got away with it. She got angry at little things. We watched the film Superman, right? Now, I love Superman. She'd never seen it. She's from Derby, and I don't know if they've got a cinema there, to be honest. I think there was just one bloke on her street had a big telly, and that was it. And he just had one copy of Teen Wolf, and that was all he watched. So she's never seen any films, right? So I said, right, you've got to watch Superman, it's a classic. And we were getting through loads of films and that while she was pregnant, bored and that. And we put Superman in, and we got about half an hour into it, and then the pause come on. I said, what's up? She went, I said, who? She went, Lois Lane. I don't know why she's talking like Bird and Manning, my wife. Lois Lane. She is winding me right up. I said, why? She went, she has just been underwater for 15 minutes, unconscious, flown through the air at the speed of a bullet, lay on the ground, water's come out of her mouth, and now look at her. Her hair and makeup are still perfect, aren't they? She's really angry about it. But I sort of tried to appease her. I said, listen, that's because she's a Hollywood film star. She doesn't work at Greg's in Chorley. Right now, I shouldn't have said that. My wife's a supervisor. It was out of order, okay? No steak bakes for the week. I was starving.
So I came to Britain in the early 80s. We were refugees long before it became fashionable. And my favourite immigrants are Polish people because they've properly confused old-fashioned racists. Have you seen them? They don't know what to do. What do we do? What do we say? They're immigrants, but they're white. I heard this one bloke go, bloody Poles coming over here with their work ethic. Which isn't very politically correct, and I try so hard to be politically correct. Sometimes I take it too far. I was at a party recently and I said to my friend, have you met Steve? He's a really nice guy. My friend goes, which one's Steve? Steve was the only black guy in the room. I found myself going, Steve, yeah, he's over there. He's got blue jeans on, a grey T-shirt, sort of curly hair, and a Nigerian accent. And once I was performing at a comedy club and there was 2 black guys in the front row, like you two, but men and black. You are a man, sir, I'm sorry. It's the lights. And I said to them, so how do you two know each other? And they looked at each other and went, we don't. Might as well have had NF tattooed on my forehead. I didn't, it was felt tip. I like friendly, a little bit of friendly racism is nice. When I was a little girl, I used to always go to my friend Katie's house, and every time her dad opened the door, he'd go, hello, Shappy, you've been on holiday? So, I have a little boy, I have a baby boy, I'm a mum, and I'm looking at you, some of you are so young. I could be your mummy if I lived somewhere rural. Like a lot of women, I got to my 30s and I thought, I've got to have a baby now. Well, my mum's still young enough to look after it for me. And I went to all the antenatal classes, and this woman came up to me, one of the other mums goes, oh, how are you planning on losing your baby weight? And I was like, well, I was just thinking of having the child. And she was like, oh, I'm going to be a yummy mummy. I'm going to lose all my yummy mummy. That's just like a middle-class way of saying MILF. I was so happy when I found out that I was pregnant. And we had a scan and we knew that it was a boy. And people said to me, why did you find out the sex of your baby? Didn't you want a surprise? Well, it's going to be a boy or a girl, do you know what I mean? The only surprise would have been if it was a puppy. And there are no puppies in my family. There's one goat, it's not a blood relation. Thank goodness I have a child now. It was no fun being a broody Iranian woman. Every time I said to people, my body clock's ticking, they'd hit the ground. So with all that going on, when I did find out I was pregnant, I was so delighted. I thought, I am going to fill this child's life up with love and hope and understanding. My husband's reaction was slightly different. He walked around going, woohoo, my soldiers worked! Easy. It's not his. Oh, the fuss he made when he found out I was cheating on him. Only child. Can't share. My husband's English, he's from Nottingham, and a lot of people ask me if my husband's Iranian. And I go, well, he's not, he's English, but he's planning to convert. His family are absolutely lovely, and when they first met me, they kept going, oh, Shappy's so exotic, she's so exotic, which means foreign, but not in a way that we hate.
I'll be honest with you, folks, I was involved with a man a few years ago, okay? More than 10 years ago, I was involved with a man, but because it's more than 10 years ago, I don't want to say I'm bisexual now. I haven't been bummed in a decade, yeah? I feel like you need to renew your certificates. Can't just go around dining out on former glories while practitioners of bisexuality are out there. Front lines, out of order to them. The consequences. And I feel like that's happening a lot now. A lot of straight people are trying to claim they're a little bit more gay than they are just to seem interesting, yeah? I'm a bit gay. Are you, though? Have you been bummed? I'm a bit gay. Yeah, come on, let's hear it. I was talking to a guy at a party, right? He told me he was bisexual because he'd had a couple of gay thoughts. I've had thoughts about volunteering. Have I volunteered? Have I fuck? And therefore, I am not a volunteer. It's quite straightforward. I can't walk up to volunteers outside a soup kitchen and say, yeah, I've thought about doing that. Me and you are one and the same. Have a great day. I'm off to have fun while we both volunteer. It's out of order. But the LGBTQ is getting mentioned more now. We're being represented in the media. I feel like that's good. It's getting talked about. Footballers sometimes wear the thing on their arm. But sometimes you're thinking, is this a company just being a little bit, do you know what I mean? Just being a bit naughty and trying to seem, okay, you're on side. All right, I was outside Sainsbury's. On the window, it said, Sainsbury's proudly supports the LGBTQ. And I'm thinking, how exactly does this play out, Sainsbury's? What is this support you're talking of? Do you send your reps down to gay orgies? To cheer them on from the side? Go on, son, that's it, put it in the bum. Yeah, the hairy one, that's it. Yeah, that's right. Do you want a bag for that, boys? Hey, girls, do the scissors thing or whatever it is you do, yeah? So they all taste the same, or can you taste the difference? Sainsbury's supports this. Good for you. Or is their support more subliminal? It's more like in-store, little things you don't think you realise you've seen. You know, like you go up to the sausage roll aisle. It used to be in packs of 1, now it's packs of 2, tip to tip. So that when you do see 2 cocks going at it, you think, where have I seen that? I've seen that somewhere before. That's fine, because I know that. I've seen that. But, you know, to be honest, when I was involved with this guy, it wasn't about him being a guy, it was about the connection we had, right? I didn't really care about his gender, which I guess makes me a pansexual back then, but I didn't stick, so I'm more like a non-stick pan.